Call the meeting to order. And our first order is roll call. So all members are present. Joining any recognitions? Okay. For the consent agenda, we have approval of the minutes dated January 11th. We'll entertain a motion to approve those. Correct?
So moved.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of the January 11th meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those like sign, motion carried. All right, under old business, I guess an HVAC update.
Well, thankfully, we've been holding up with what we repaired, so we're proud of that. But the Lewis Group Architects, as you can see, they're turning over some information and mechanical, electrical, plumbing, MEP for the upgrades. And we're just in a holding pattern until they get all those, and then we will have to bid that project. But we're hoping that that happens pretty soon, but that is a slow process to get that because they've got to figure out where all the pipes are and where they're going. So, but we are holding our own on what we repaired.
How much have we paid for that so far? In ballpark?
About 25-ish for the patching.
2,500 or?
25,000.
Wishful thinking, you
Yeah.
would.
I can always hope.
It was a
It's,
holiday when they were here.
Yeah, I know.
to remove the ceilings, it was about $7,000 each time. And then, of course, you repair the lines and then the repair at the, for the 7th and 8th grade, and the 20s wing was about 5,000, plus we had we rented a track hoe, and you remember how much that was, Mr. Marshall, that track hoe?
What's that?
It was here for 3 days, about $230 a day.
Yeah, probably 750, that's what they dug it out with.
Ah.
All right. Hopefully we'll get a solution before that. I'm sure it's not gonna be, it's gonna be costly, I guess.
Costly and not easy.
Right. Okay, under new business, Johnny will, I guess, discuss approval of the, budget amendment.
What this budget amendment actually is, it's just moving money from what you was at home, your savings account into your checking account, because when we pay those extra funds, some payments on that, it's more than the amount that we have in reserve there. So that money, after a couple of years, when the extra's over, that would go back in. It's just, you might pay it out today and get it back tomorrow, but I'd like to say we've got a great finance staff, and Miss Willis and Tina and Dinah works in there, and it's just great, and they kept up with it. And we actually, Miss Karen talked to our auditors about this, and that's what they recommended.
All right, I guess, entertain a motion to approve just the transfer of funds.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made, motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay, approval of the tuition rates.
We looked at the tuition here and the funds you generate per student. We just feel like if we can lower the tuition rate, especially for the in-county, that we might pick up some more students here. And we have some capacity to be able to serve more students. So we're thought we'd look at that and see. And I've talked to several people here, and they feel like that's a fair way to do it.
How much do we get from the state for each student? Do you know?
I'm just going to say 7,500. It could be 8, it could be 7, and students with certain codes or special needs, you might get more, but you're going to get in the ballpark of that, right, Ms. Karen?
So we could make it up with more students.
Definitely.
The money follows the students, so it's good to get all the students we get. Okay, any other discussion on the tuitions, rates? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion,
I'll say.
motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Okay, Mr. Discuss approval of accepting the Tennessee All Courts grant.
That grant's been available since the fall. We've turned it down up until now. It's a tutoring grant, but the match was so high compared to what you were gonna get, that we didn't feel like it was cost effective. But we have talked with the state, and we were actually on a conference call, several of us, and they're gonna allow us to use that extra money that we're already spending as our match. So therefore, we feel like we can take it. It's for 2 years, but we only committed to 1 year to make sure that everything worked out as planned, because I wasn't gonna take $58,000 and have to pay another 80 on our side. So, we feel like, they were very, confident that they could do that and help us and get us through that. So I would recommend, at least for next year, but it is good for 2 years, that we accept that.
Do we have any after-school programs going on this year?
Yes, we have through the Night Smarter Foundation, and we have that going on now. And so this would be, hopefully, most of this tutoring would be during the day. We would hire someone to do some of that tutoring, and so students that can't stay after school, we could work through that.
Do you know how many students we have staying after school for those programs?
I saw some of them today in the second grade hall, but I don't know how many altogether they are. There's different ones each
Missy,
day.
you're good with numbers, do you know?
I do not know, I think Karen knows. We have about 23 students that is K through 3, and our match with Noswanger is about 10%. They're gonna let us, like Mr. Dronigan had said, count that 10% for them. So we're hoping that our success there will carry over.
I'm just curious how behind the students are, not just here, but everywhere. To hear there's only 23 taking advantage of that, that's kind of sad.
Well, you wish you had more, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of.
And are we paying ESSER money this year for any tutoring?
For tutoring,
Because you said we were gonna match it with ESSER money, so is that ESSER money that is?
yeah, it's not actually, the money that they're matching, that they're gonna match is not tutoring money so much as staff money. So what I'm saying is, if we're paying for a teacher assistant, and they're even gonna allow us to use a little bit of the custodial money, so they're pulling several different groups of money together to get the match.
For next year.
For next year, we're not doing it this year. It would probably been April before we got started this year, so
So that'll be in our budget for next year,
it'll be in the ESSER budget.
for next year.
Yes, right, next year.
Right, any other discussion? If not, we'll entertain a motion to accept the grant.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's made,
I'll second.
second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay, bring us to our staff and community reports, and I think the special education annual performance review results.
Yes,
Ms. Karen,
I'll stand up over here. Don't look at my head, I have a big pump knot because I ran into a tree, so I'll just move from there. So, our special ed department has really improved over the years, and also it's because, it's because of our general education teachers as well. So when I say special ed, it really means all of us. When you look at the report, proficiency that are at or above approaching for grades 4 and 8, students with disabilities, was 83.33%. And that is awesome. And again, these ladies and Madison and all the other teachers here are because of that, their combined efforts. Their math proficiency, it was 33.33%, and it's still above the state average. So whatever we're doing here, we're working. A lot of things too, our funding comes from the accuracy of the reports we turn in. In the past, our early childhood outcomes had kind of slipped, and we had several issues with those. This past year, if you look at indicator 7, that's 100%. So we are getting the maximum amount of funding. And also our inclusion rates in pre-K, Ms. Hancock back there, She's our new pre-K person, and we are starting to have inclusion in her class with some of our students. It's really important for those 3 to 5-year-olds to get in there. And we made our grades in areas. This is like the TCAP for special ed. So this is what we're measured by, as well as proficiency. So this is the first time in quite a bit of time that we've met all the requirements, all the indicators. So I want to say thank you to all of my special ed staff, and then also all the other teachers, because with them, we wouldn't be able to do it. So thank you.
All right, okay, good report. Good
And we
report.
have a copy of that report.
It's in
Package.
Last
I
attachment.
can see it.
It was
there. There were 3 attachments.
Like, yeah. Attachment
Is it,
I think.
Yes?
Yes.
okay, well, it doesn't make any sense.
all right. Yeah, great job. And, I think that showed, the teamwork and the way, Rogersville City School operates. Each department supports the other, and at the end of it, we all succeed. And it's doing a great job. And I know it's always good to hear around the state, Rogersville City School is right there with the best of them. And I always bless us for that. So good job to everyone involved. And I know it takes everybody to make it work. All right, good job. I guess gets us to the information. Update on COVID. You found a cure for it.
No. We have really improved since Friday. Friday, we had 12 student positive and 21 quarantined. Today, we had 7 positive and 6 quarantined, and 0 staff out for COVID issues today, other than maybe if they had a child or something with it that they had to take care of. But if I could, I'd like Ms. Edson to talk about the ELC grant that we started pretty soon.
We're excited that we're going to get to be able to put those funds to use now. The supply chain issues kind of got us a little bit behind with that. But we have some supplies coming in, some rapid tests this week, and so we'll be able to serve students and staff and with testing in the school. We're going to have certain hours in the morning, and of course test students and staff all day long as needed.
And you and Karen will do that?
Yes, we're going to split up the time, Karen and I.
All right. Mr. Johnny, I guess the baseball lot.
Yeah, they're gonna spend the night here, and everybody remember Matt Price during that process. That's all I have.
All right, our next board meeting will be Tuesday, March 8th, 5 o'clock. And with that, I guess the agenda, we'll entertain a motion to.
We had school board appreciation. I just want to thank the 5th and 6th grade teachers for picking me up. I do appreciate that. Flows and gave me some fresh breath, extra chewing gum and some donuts. So you can't go wrong. But I've talked to several other board members, and they mentioned they had some really nice goodies as well.
Got some real good, they're gonna spoil us.
Yes.
Thank you again, for all people involved in the appreciation.
Yes, I got to read the first grade. That was an experience. I haven't read the first grade in a while. That's an experience.
Get a lot of
It was,
questions.
they were so cute.
Mhm.
And there was one little feller that kept popping up and asking questions and making comments, and it made for a fun afternoon.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, it's always a joy to be around the kids.
Oh.
You'd be surprised, some of the questions they come up with, and pretty insightful.
It was fun. They are so cute.
All
But
right,
it
yeah.
takes a calling for a teacher to teach kindergarten and first grade.
That's for sure.
Okay, there's no other business, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So